people use this route to transition into healthcare. Some may require driver's license. You will get caregiving jobs that are $18, $20, $21. And I'm not saying this just because I want to say it. I'm saying it because I know people that are working there earning this much. You must be at least 18 years of age. From my research, I realized that Ontario seems to have a larger demand for carers. I'll tell you for sure that it is always above the minimum wage. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Yemisi and I am an international student living in Canada. I school in the University of Saskatchewan and I make videos about my life in Canada and videos that can help you settle into Canada as an international student or permanent resident. So if this is the content that you love, please subscribe and join the family. My last 2 or 3 videos, people were asking me about making a video on personal support worker in Canada. Care job is like an umbrella word, in my opinion, that a lot of jobs can be mentioned under. In the healthcare sector, we have the nurses, we have the doctors, we have physicians, therapists, we have different people under the healthcare sector, and that's also the way we have personal support worker as a caregiver in the health sector. For personal support worker, you can either go through months of trainings or just like weeks of trainings, or some can be based on past experiences and all of that. So in this video, I'm going to share pros and cons of working as a personal support worker in Canada, how you can be eligible for personal support work in Canada. So I might be using the word care worker or caregiver or personal support worker interchangeably, but just know that I'm referring to the same thing. Some of the questions that I've gotten, I've also put them down here. By the way, let me put a disclaimer quickly on this video. I'm not an immigration consultant. I'm not a licensed health personnel. I'm just putting this out there based on people's demands and also based on the questions that I've gotten over time on my channel. You may have heard that healthcare sector is booming abroad, basically in Canada, in America, the United Kingdom and the likes. Canada specifically has about 25% rate of baby boomers in their population. So baby boomers are people that are like the senior citizens, people that are older, I guess should be between 60 and above. So they have about 25% according to the statistics that was shown in sometimes early 2022 last year. I might also leave the link in the description box so that you will validate this. So we have about 25% of our population as baby boomers, and that is like one of the reasons why healthcare, personal support work, care jobs, they are usually in demand in the country. And to answer some of the questions I get, like, oh, where should I go, what province should I be headed if I'm looking for care work, I'll say that all the jurisdictions, all the provinces are in demand of personal support workers or caregivers. But from my research, I realized that Ontario seems to have a larger demand for carers based on job statistics, and this might be because of the warm weather over there or influx of people in that particular province. So that might be the reason. But based on the job statistics and based on even search, like when I was searching for different care jobs or different personal support work in Canada, I was seeing a lot of those jobs or those vacancies in Ontario. So that might be somewhere you want to go to, but I'm just letting you know that Ontario is not the only province that is in demand for care job. All provinces in Canada are in demand for care job because you always find quite a number of people that are baby boomers, quite significant in some provinces as well. Also, people use this route to transition into healthcare. So if you're someone that have been looking at working in the health sector, but your background was in, say, engineering or business or courses that are not related to health, it might be a way to transition, because when you have the personal support work experience or caregiving experience, transitioning into the healthcare, like into the core healthcare sector, might not be so much of a challenge. Okay, it might be easier compared to someone that is just transitioning directly from other professions. What's this job about? This job is all about taking care of people. It's not necessarily adults or senior citizens. It might be children, it might be people that are vulnerable, it might be people that are quote and unquote disabled. It could also be you taking care of children in foster homes. So we have different jobs for personal support workers. Anyway, I'm going to go into those parts in this video: how to apply, what kind of jobs you're going to get, like places you're going to be working in. I'm going to explain everything in this video. Just stay tuned. I always get questions like, how much of it is in demand in Canada? It is so much in demand. Like when you go online, I feel like from time to time I always see job vacancies for personal support work, caregiving job, like they are always in demand. And I find out that a lot of times students take this job up as part-time jobs, and people stay in those kind of jobs till the end of their program. So it's a job that is in demand, and it's a job that is quite high paying as well, which takes me to the next question, which is how much do they pay you as a care worker? I'll tell you for sure that it is always above the minimum wage. If you see any care work that is below the minimum wage, to me I feel like I've not really seen anyone really, because it's, yeah, that would be very rare, because a lot of times the care jobs that I see online, they are always above the minimum wage. For example, currently minimum wage for Saskatchewan is $13, but you would get caregiving jobs that are $18, $20, $21. And I'm not saying this just because I want to say it, I'm saying it because I know people that are working there and earning this much. They're high paying jobs, more than the minimum wage jobs, if you get what I mean. And a lot of international students do those jobs. So how can you get this job? It depends. Some people actually go for programs in school to get this experience or get this academic certification, and most of these schools are usually colleges. When I was doing my research, I found out that a lot of colleges in Ontario actually have this program, like Fanshawe College, Conestoga College, and a bunch of them. I'm not saying you should restrict your search to Ontario. I'm just saying that when I was searching for it, a lot of those search results were coming from that province, but you can as well get them across provinces. It's usually like for a year or less in some cases. I've also seen people that, in addition with their experience, they take CPR training, first aid training, food safety training. They also take trainings like PART, which is professional assault response training, and NVCI, which is non-violent crisis intervention training. These trainings are very important because sometimes they might be dealing with people that are quite assaulting or people that are rude. So how do you handle those situations? All of those things will be taught in those trainings, so it's very important. Some also acquire these certificates or take like 6 months online program with placement opportunities. I have a friend currently taking this. When he came in as a PR in Canada, he started taking the course about 6 months ago. Right now he's done with the course. Every month they do like assessments so that you see whether you can qualify to the next month and the next month, like that. I don't know if I ever asked him for the pass mark, or he usually gets 80 to 90%. The time he told me he got 100%. So I think it's something that is not so hard. It's just something that you have to dedicate to, because I know that he will probably be on that Zoom call from evening, and they don't end until like 10 p.m. So sometimes it's like from 6 to 10 p.m, like 4 hours online almost every day for 6 months. Right now he has gotten his placement, and I guess like 3 months or 4 months placement or so. That's not so much important right now. What I just want to say is that some people get these jobs by doing a 6 months course online and getting placements afterward, either getting trainings in addition to your experience or going to proper colleges for the program, which also gives you placements. When you go for the programs in colleges, you get placements as well, or just take that 6 months online program. Everything is always online, so you see them. How do you get eligible? How do you know you're eligible for this kind of jobs? You must be at least 18 years of age. You must be someone who has empathy, someone who is able to communicate fluently in English or in French if you're in like Quebec or places in Canada that speaks French or that has more French population. You must also pass the security and background checks. Some may require driver's license, and I know this because when I was searching for eligibility for these jobs online, I was seeing most of them asking for driver's license, and I could relate to it a bit because I have a friend that in her own care job, what she does is just to drive them around. So these people are dependent on you. So sometimes they just want to go to the shopping mall, just do window shopping. Sometimes they just want to go out or take a stroll or just drive out. So you would require a driver's license in those kind of jobs. So that's also something that you want to have at the back of your mind. And I don't think that all these care jobs requires that. I'm just saying that some requires this. So one thing you should have at the back of your mind is to ensure to have a driver's license before coming into Canada, so that you can quickly convert into the country's driver's license and be able to drive them around. For those people that takes care of children, sometimes they might want you to have the early childhood learning certificate. So it's also a program in colleges or even in universities. I think there is one in Sask Poly, because I know someone that graduated there recently, and what she studied was early childhood learning program. That was the program, and I think it was for 2 years as well. It was in Prince Albert campus that she did hers. So that's like how you can get this personal support work. or be a personal support worker in Canada. So what does the job entail? It entails taking care of people. Like I said, they are highly dependent on you. They're vulnerable people. Some are very old people. You have to clean them up, you have to have their bath for them. Some you have to take care of them, basically wear their clothes, feed them, you know, all of that. But what people tell me is feeding them is not really a problem. They really eat light food, so just to know the basics. And if you don't know how to make those foods, you can always go online. Most of the time it's probably sandwich in the morning and the likes. But yeah, like you have to know how to just take care of them. Basically they usually have something beside their beds that they, you know, they just ring it for you to come into their room or to know the exact person that needs attention. So that's about that. For interviews, you know, a lot of times people go into some of these interviews and they bluff, like they don't really know what to say. But trust me, if you are in your home country, you have helped your family members when they are sick, if you have helped older people, like whether friends, families, during the period of their illness, probably when they had accident, when they were going through different things, you've had their bath for them and all of that, that's also like an experience that you want to share in your interview. All of those things make up what they want to hear. They want to know how much you've catered for people. That's in addition with the experience that you have that you must have put in your resume. So yeah, just try to let them know that like you took care of your parents when they were very ill at a particular point in life. Some people actually stopped school because their parents were not feeling fine or something, or some people took care of their siblings and all of that. So those are things that you can tell them during the interview, because those are experiences. The only reason you do not count them as experiences is because you weren't paid for it and it wasn't like a job per se. There are experiences that you can share during your interview, but a lot of them require certificate for it, and a lot of them requires you to have proper experience like working in care homes. But aside those experiences, these are some things that you can mention in your interview. For admission requirements in some of these colleges, some require that you are a high school graduate. That's like the least that you should be. Then you go through all of that processes like submitting your transcripts for your high school and all of that. That's if you're going for a proper program. And some can just say, oh, you don't have an academic certificate, you're a matured applicant, just let us know the skills and experiences and give us references so that we can confirm that. Those are some of the requirements that they will ask for in your admission. If you're a high school graduate, then you have like some other documents that you attach. If you've never been to school before and you have skills and experiences, you want to list them and have your references attest to those skills. How do you apply for these jobs? You can apply on indeed.ca and search for them on your maybe provincial website, but most of the time I think they're always on indeed.ca. Sometimes if you have the necessary certificates and experience, you might want to register with home care agencies and people can hire you from those agencies. So that's another way to get jobs. But trust me when I say if you go on indeed.ca, you will see loads of job opportunities for you there. What are the job options? You can either work in senior or retirement homes. These places are strictly where old people live. You can work in community centers. You can do personal home support, like there's a way they call it, they live-in support workers. So those people that live in the house, like nannies, they're also personal support workers, and the jobs like that. Or you can work in disability homes, you can work in hospitals. It depends. So there are various job options for you as a personal support worker in Canada. Let us now go to the pros and cons of working as a personal support worker, and this one is strictly my own opinion. Okay, so some of the pros is they are well-paid jobs. Well-paid can be relative, but in my opinion they are more than the minimum wage job, so they are well-paid jobs. Another pro would be transitioning to healthcare sector. Like I said before, you easily transition from this personal support work into the healthcare sector if you do not have experiences before. This can be a route that you want to take. Also, exposures to different families. You can work with different families that will just be amazing, and you can, you know, learn their culture. Some of them will even take you as their child, like their son, like their daughter. They just see you as family, especially if they like how you take care of them. So you have all those exposure to different cultures, different families. Some of the cons as well would be they are mostly shift jobs. Most of the time they are not regular jobs. You might have to wait until you get called for a particular shift, and sometimes it might not be 8 hours, sometimes it might not be 5 hours. It might just be someone that they quickly need for like 2, 3, 4 hours. That's like a downside to it. Another thing is you may be exposed to rude clients. You may be exposed to people that are rude, and you must never touch them, you must never assault them, even if you are hit by them. Those trainings that I mentioned before, the non-violent training, will help you put you in shape to know that you cannot retaliate. All you need to do is just pamper them with love and care. Another one is most of the time they need driver's license. Like, that's also a con, because if you're working in the average stores and fast food chain stores, you don't need a driver's license, okay? But for this job, depending on the kind of client that you'll be working with, you might need a driver's license. So yeah, I hope that you understand all of the points that I mentioned in this video. And if you have ever worked as a personal support worker or a caregiver before, let us know your experiences in the comment section, or please add to some of the points that I already shared in this video. We'll really appreciate that. Also, don't forget to like this video if it was helpful, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, share this video to the aspiring personal support workers or anyone that is already in Canada but looking for jobs as a care worker, caregiver, or someone that wants to transition into the health sector that needs to go through this route. So share this video with them. Also, let me know if you have other questions in the comment section and other videos that you love me to make, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.